You can be seated. Thanks. Thanks, everybody, coming out today. Got a decent amount on the agenda today, so welcome everybody to the February docket meeting. We always start with a pledge, and so if you'll join me in the pledge. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance While you remain standing, we're going to recognize Dan Carr for the prayer.
Let's pray. Lord, I do thank you for this day that you've given to us. And Lord, I do thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be able to meet today. And Lord, I do pray that you'll be with this meeting. Lord, I pray that it go well. Lord, I do thank you for our state. Lord, I thank you, Lord, that we get to live, Lord, in Mississippi. And Lord, I pray that you continue to bless her. Lord, be with our governor, be with the leadership. Lord, I pray to continue to lead them. Lord, I pray for Lord, our three commissioners here, Lord, Commissioner Stamps, Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Carr. Lord, I pray to continue to give them wisdom and lead them. Lord, I pray for each and every person that's represented here today, representing, Lord, different companies from all over Mississippi. Lord, I pray that, Lord, you continue to give them wisdom, Lord, as they lead their companies. And Lord, I pray you'll just bless them. Lord, again, I do thank you for this day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, brother. We do need to keep our state in prayer. I know a lot of you know what's going on in South Jackson, so a lot of recovery effort going there, so just keep them in your prayers. Moving on to the agenda, I'm going to start with the consent docket agenda. We'll start with item number 1. Basically, it's adoption of proposed consent docket for February 2024 meeting of the Commission. Do we have a motion?
So move.
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
You have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to energy, electric, natural gas agenda. We'll recognize Mr. Lee. You're recognized to present item 1. Thank
you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. First on the energy agenda is proposed order and docket number 2006 UA 238. This is Atmos Energy Corporation's application for approval of an asset management agreement with its affiliate Trans-Louisiana Gas Pipeline, Inc. The staff has presented you a summary of this filing and our review and recommendation. The company's asset management agreement allows the asset management plan manager to optimize and enhance the value of Atmos pipeline and commodity assets. The asset management plan creates additional value through financial transactions such as futures and swaps, physical transactions, and capacity release transactions. And the maximization of Atmos idle assets ultimately results in rate savings for Atmos customers. As proposed, the order would extend the contract between Atmos and Trans-Louisiana Gas Pipeline for 3 years. We're here today to answer any questions you have about the filing or our recommendation. The staff recommends approval of the asset management agreement between Atmos and Trans-Louisiana.
Okay, thank you for the explanation of that one. Any questions, Commissioners? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
So move.
Have a motion and a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to item 2. Mr. Lee, recognized to present 2023 UN 161.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, next on the energy agenda is Mississippi Power Company's notice of Mississippi Power Company filing its fuel cost recovery and energy cost management factors for February 24 through January 25. These are known as FCR2 and ECM2A. The staff has presented you a summary of this filing and our review and recommendation. The company's fuel cost recovery and energy cost management factor rider is the company's rate recovery mechanism established to pass through actual fuel cost to customers. As proposed, the filing would produce a $2.10 increase to the average 1,000 kilowatt monthly residential customer. This is due to Mississippi Power's agreement to temporarily defer recovery on a portion of its under-recovery, and this will allow us to mitigate the immediate impact to customers' bills. The company's under-recovery in fuel can be attributed to higher than expected gas prices. We're here today to answer any questions you have about the filing or our recommendation, but staff recommends approval of the application for FCR2 and ECM2A.
Thank you for the presentation. Just for clarification, this number obviously came in a little higher before the negotiation started.
Yes, real recovery would look like $9.35 on an average monthly bill. But there's a relaxation in gas prices combined with a modest monthly increase. The company feels like that will get them close to neutral on under recovery, and so we're in favor of that.
Gotcha. Commissioners, you heard an explanation. Any questions?
So moved adoption.
You have a motion and a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Lee, for the job well done. Next, we'll go to telecommunications agenda. We'll recognize Mr. Jones to present docket number 2023 UA 146.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, in 2023 UA 0146, United Commercial Telecom, a Florida-based company, is seeking a CPCN, or approval for a CPCN here before you all to offer carrier access services using its own facilities and facilities leased from other carriers. And they're seeking authority to offer those services statewide. They currently hold CPCNs in 11 states, primarily in the Southeast. There have been no denials or withdrawals of CPN applications on their behalf, nor any revocations of CPNs that they've held in the past. Based on the staff's review of their applications and the exhibits to that application, along with their responses to the staff's data request, they appear to possess all the criteria for the issuance of the CPCN to provide the services. They possess financial, technical, and managerial ability to provide the services. And the staff's opinion is it would be in the public interest to grant them a CPCN, increases competition, and they possess a certificate of authority from the Secretary of State of Mississippi. So with that, gentlemen, staff would recommend approval of their application for a CPCN.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Any questions? Do you have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion, a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we'll go to, we don't have any water sewage on the agenda today, so we'll move on to administrative agenda. We'll start with item 1. Recognize Ross Hammonds for items.
Well, I think, Mr. Chairman,
Item
approving the minutes from the January 2024 meeting.
You heard his presentation, just approve the minutes from last month's meeting. Any questions? Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Mr. Hammonds, now you're up. Items, we'll let you handle items 2 through 6.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I feel like Joe Burrow. I'm staring at myself on the big screen here. Items 2 through 6, Commissioners, are just administrative orders referring some items that are on the docket to a hearing examiner. Their former members of the commission were assigned to those. 2016 UN 152 is a rate notice filing by Mississippi Natural, Inc. for a gas utility in Panola County. Item number 3, 2018 AD 036, was an investigation into Pumpkin Water Association outside of Oxford. 2019 UN 1 City of Utica was a notice filing to establish rates for the gas system in Utica. Item number 5, 2022 AD 067, was a commission investigation into L&F Water Association. And lastly, 2022 UA 072 was a joint filing between the Wren Water District and Coontail Water Association. These 5 orders before you are referring those to me for hearing. I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Hammonds. Did you just make an LSU state?
I did. Go Tigers.
Hotty toddy. We'll convert you yet. Here are the gentleman's explanation. Any questions?
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Number 6 is kind of interesting because that's Wren Water. That's the rural water I'm on. They do a good job. So all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to item 7. Commissioner Stamps, you're recognized for item 7.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I would like to applaud Jackson Water for the hard work they've been doing in bringing trust and confidence to the Jackson water system. And there's been some issues we need to work on that we've become aware of recently. And I'll read my prepared remarks. It has recently come to the attention of the Commission that the City of Jackson, working through the interim third-party manager and Jackson Water Incorporated, has announced new water rates and fees for 2024, which apply not only to water customers within the city limits of Jackson, but also to those customers residing more than 1 mile beyond the city limits. According to the customer notification from Jackson Water, the rates became effective in January and will be seen on customers' bills this month. However, neither the city nor Jackson Water Incorporated have filed a petition seeking Commission approval of the new rates for the jurisdictional customers who reside outside the 1 mile corridor of the city. Because this failure represents a potential violation of the Mississippi Public Utilities Act, I would ask that Commission legal staff be directed to prepare an order setting a date and time for the city to come before the Commission and show cause as to why it has implemented new rates for jurisdictional customers without first seeking the requisite Commission approval. And I appreciate the staff's attention to that matter.
Very good presentation, Commissioner. You've heard the explanation. Any questions? Do you have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion. Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good job, Commissioner. So now we'll move on to the briefing. We'll recognize Atmos Energy. We're going to recognize Wendy Collins, Vice President of Rates and Regulatory Affairs. Ms. Collins, you're recognized.
Hey, good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for having us and giving us an opportunity to talk about the work we're doing in Southwest Jackson area and the City of Jackson. Let me also say thank you to all 3 of you for coming out last week on site to see the work that we're actually doing, get a view into the projects, and visit with some of our operations folks. I know they appreciated the opportunity to speak with you.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a comment before she
Yes, sir.
begins? Everyone knows that there are several pieces to the issue that we're dealing with. The NTSBs are conducting an investigation to look at that portion. This portion is part of the solution. And every minute that we spend doing the investigation portion is a minute we don't spend solving the problem. So right now, I would like for us to focus our attention on solving the problem, and there will be a day that comes in the future where we'll have hearings and go through responsibility parties and all those different things. But at this moment, in this discussion today, is about solving the problem and making the situation safe for all our residents.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that. So I was going to talk a little bit about the background, kind of how we got here in response to those fires. We did immediately mobilize resources in the area to monitor our system to make sure it was safe and reliable service for our customers. We regularly use leak surveys to monitor our system and ensure its safety and reliability. So we brought in multiple crews from across our enterprise to accelerate those leak surveys in the area. We also brought in multiple service and construction crews so that they could immediately start to repair any leaks found. Then, since we had all the resources here and available to us, we are now using them to accelerate leak repairs further out in the City of Jackson, in the surrounding area, and to support our infrastructure replacement program. Now, the customers that have been impacted with temporary interruptions to service. We've worked directly with them to make sure that their inconvenience has been as little as possible. We did that by offering hotel rooms to people who did not have gas service temporarily. Some people elected to stay in homes, and we were able to put CNG tanks or compressed natural gas tanks on their homes to continue their service. I'm happy to report that as of today, service has been restored to all but about 10 of those customers. At the peak of the event, we only had about less than 100 customers out of service. So our guys have worked really hard to make sure we've gotten this taken care of as quickly as possible. Now, as we move forward, we're going to continue our systematic approach to assess the system and support our infrastructure replacement plan that's outlined in the System Integrity Plan. That plan is focused on proactively replacing existing infrastructure to enhance our public safety, our system integrity, and the reliability of the system in Jackson and in the state of Mississippi. Now, we have projects related to, let's see. Can we get the picture to come up? Oh, great. So as you can see, we have on our website, we continually update maps of all of our infrastructure replacement projects. This shows the city of Jackson area. As you can see, the cluster of projects in the southwest portion of the city, but we do have projects ongoing through the rest of the area. And then here you can see that same map blown up for the entire state of Mississippi. You can see we have continual projects going on throughout the whole state. And I will say that in the past 5 years, Atmos Energy has invested over $387 million in this kind of work. 40% of that investment has been right here in the city of Jackson, and we will continue to do that work. So we understand the work at the pace we've been doing it has been pretty disruptive to customers. We're going to continue to work with them to make sure that they're to mitigate the inconvenience to them and provide assistance where needed. And I know that some people have been concerned about damage to yards and streets. Just know that as part of our standard procedure, as they're working on a project, we make temporary repairs, and then as soon as the projects are completed, we come back and restore the work completely, so it's back to its original state. So as we return to our normal pace of infrastructure replacement work over the coming weeks, residents in Jackson will continue to see Atmos Energy crews throughout the city completing this work to support the safety of our customers and communities. Thank you.
Thank you,
Any
Ms. Collins.
questions?
Any questions, commissioners?
So with this rate, how many, this basically is covering a majority of the city.
Yeah, we started in the Southwest Jackson area, but part of our infrastructure replacement program is to evaluate our entire service area. So yes, the city of Jackson is big on our list. It's a priority for us. And as we have in the past and will continue to do, you'll still see lots of crews working.
So how long do you expect the work to be continuing at this level in the city of Jackson?
So while we've had all these multiple crews in doing this work, they will start to ramp down probably over the next few weeks, and we'll be back to our kind of normal pace of work that we do throughout the city.
Could you inform the commission and the viewers how large of a presence Atmos has brought to solve this problem?
Oh, we've had over 130 Atmos employees from our other divisions: Louisiana, Colorado, Kansas, Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee. They have all mobilized here in the city for us.
And if interested parties would like to contact Atmos in any way because they've been negatively impacted or to report problems, how do they do that?
We do have a hotline that they can call, and I can get that number for you, or they can call us directly, and our customer contact center will put them in touch with the right people.
Could you speak to community meetings or forums or things that the public who's not here could go participate in that y'all are facilitating this?
Absolutely. So during the first push of work, we're kind of 24/7 working. We did talk with state and city leaders to let them know what we were doing in the area. This week we have events planned with both Councilman Banks and Councilman Stokes, some town halls to talk to residents directly. We're also working with groups like the Association of South Jackson Neighborhoods to present to them and make sure their residents are aware of the work that we're doing.
So for those who may not understand the true scope of this, it's a massive endeavor, you know, and for those who are familiar with the demographics of Jackson, you're basically going from Wingfield High School to Byram and west to Brook Hollow, and then north to, I saw some dots on the map up towards Hanging Moss. So it's the area, the more they seem to be surveying, the more it's being uncovered, which means the more needs to be fixed.
Right. And again, this is part of our regular system integrity program that we file every year. We have a budget for, and there is a lot of planned work. Again, we reprioritize areas as we identify immediate needs. So that's why you're seeing more activity in this area now.
Well, I wouldn't say this is part of our regular work. This isn't regular, but it is aggressive.
It is aggressive. We have accelerated our work in this area.
So I believe the town hall for Councilman Stokes is Wednesday at 6 p.m. at Cornerstone Baptist Church,
Yes,
and the town hall with Councilman Banks is
Thursday.
Thursday at 6 p.m. At is it Glory United Church on Maddox Road
I believe so.
at 6 p.m. So folks who would like to participate, see firsthand, answer questions, because, you know, I got 451 family members that live in Jackson.
I know.
Half of them live in South Jackson. So this issue is deeply personal for me.
I understand.
And if I haven't told my father to evacuate, I don't believe no one else needs to evacuate. There's a lot of chatter going on Nextdoor and Facebook and all over the place. But we got to work hard to get this done. And then, trust me, there will be a day where we kind of go through the details, not kind of, really go through the details of what caused all this. But today, everyone needs to roll their sleeves up and see how they can affect it in a positive way to get people taken care of. And then when we get to, 30, 45 days from now, we'll dig through the weeds and figure out how we got here and put solutions in place to not ever get here again.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Stamps, you're exactly right. I was,
Roughly, how many customers is it that are affected?
So at the peak of it, we only had about right under 100 customers without service. And as I said, it's down to just about 10 or less, and they should have service restored shortly.
And roughly, how many feet or miles are y'all replacing?
So far, I believe we have replaced about 4 miles of main and about 100 services.
I also want to thank all the crews out there. They're doing their best in this time. Everybody's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, thank you. I know they appreciate that.
So let's just remember that we all have to work together in this crisis. It's not an easy fix, but I feel like we're headed in the right direction. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Commissioner.
it was eye-opening. Commissioner Stamps invited us to tour South Jackson, or SoJack, as Commissioner Stamps calls it. And it's a large area. It's a very, very large impacted area. But I think we were all impressed by the number of crews and the effort that was going on. It's a Herculean task, and we appreciate everybody working together to make sure that our neighbors are safe in South Jackson. So continue the good work, and like Commissioner Stamp said, there'll be a time to figure out what happened later, but right now we're rolling up our sleeves to try to make sure that our neighbors are safe and that we get everybody back to normal as much as possible. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. If we're going to go back, just to, if you'll indulge me, we're going back to item 7 on the show calls. I think Commissioner Stamps wants to recognize Mayor of Byram, Richard White.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I didn't see the mayor in the audience there, but, oh, you're behind the phone, okay. And just for context, the city of Byram is more than 1 mile outside of the service area, outside of the jurisdictional boundaries of the city of Jackson. And this rate increase is proposing to raise their rates, and for the part of Terry, about $60 a month. While I do understand that rates need to be raised over time to cause, to upgrade your system, but for me, without promising the citizens of Byram something specific, like I would suggest that they get a water wheel out there, 2 water wheels and 2 water towers out there, or 3, to stabilize their system and also for the town of Terry. But to raise folks' rates and not do it, the judge had a stipulated agreement out there that specifically gives direction to the third-party manager of how to do these things. And for them to sidestep that, and I don't want to get into some kind of public, pissing contest with the folks, so they're doing good work.
That's the right.
But I want to make sure we do things right and we guarantee them better service, not just tell them to pay more money. And I recognize Mayor White at this time.
Well, Commissioner, you're exactly right. Let me speak to that. The statute's clear in this, is that it has to come before the commission for us to approve these rates. So Commissioner Stamps is spot on, so I appreciate you bringing this issue to the commission. But Mayor, you're recognized.
Thank y'all for having us, and I got a couple of people with me, my public works guy. I must scare him to death. And we got one of our clerks with us, and we got one of our attorneys, but I don't think we need them today. But this deal is just, they want our money, but they don't want to provide us a place to sit when it comes to the table. And it's been hard to keep up with what all's going on. But this last week, we got these things in, fixing to go up on our rates, and they send them to almost everybody in my city. And by the way, that 1 mile is not the whole city.
That's right.
My home is on Spring Ridge Road, which is the very bottom line to my city. I was just barely in, thank goodness. No, but they sent me one, Richard G. White, 12460 Spring Ridge Road. 47 years I've lived there. So when I moved there, or when I started to build my home there was no pipe that was big enough to put another house on Spring Ridge Road. So I drilled a well. It's really, really ironic that you get here 40-something years later. But to say all that, I don't even have I have a septic tank, but I don't have we don't have wastewater out there because I live on 35 acres. But, and I'm not saying that to anything special, but, it's just, they do things that I don't understand, and it would be a whole lot if we worked together. Now, when I first met with them, when they met with us almost 3 years ago, maybe 2 years, 2.5 years ago, I told them that I wanted Jackson to get their water, and I wanted them to get some good water, and I wanted to make sure they did that. But we want our water, and that's my biggest deal. And plus, when they start trying to change the laws, and I did serve over in the Capitol a few years, they start changing the laws or trying to bypass laws that we've had in place for years and years and years. I have a big problem with that. That's the only reason I'm here today. And I just left the coffee club. We run a little late. I had a coffee club meeting, a coffee with the mayor deal, so I got that done. But we're really concerned about this. And we still have quite a few leaks out there, not 30 like we have had before. And they're just slow to give us service. Bill, coming up. This is Bill Miley. He works with me. He's been with me a few years. And,
He's one of the best public works directors in the whole state.
this is him. He worked for Jackson 44 years.
That's right.
And he solved the problems we were going to have trouble coming up with in the last 6 or 7 years, right? Right. And he does a good job for us, but he's my public works guy. He spends about 60 or 70% of his time messing with water issues. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, we get calls. And
Step over to the mic, Bill.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We get calls, we go out and identify the leaks, and we try to get them out in a timely fashion, and before it starts tearing up roads and property, and and costing more money to make the repairs. So anyway, it has gotten better since the third party come in, but most of the guys used to work for me because I was a water sewer utility manager for Jackson. And I call them direct, and they kind of respond to me like they used to still work for me. But
You did a good job, and they appreciate it.
but anyway, it is better. But they do charge double in that 1 mile radius, and so
They're already paying high rates. That's right. Go ahead.
if they change these rates, and say you got a $60 bill, well, they're going to be paying $120. So it's something that needs to be looked at and adjusted, I think.
How many,
Like he said, the service that they give us for our city it has done well. The third-party Ted guy is, I have his cell number. He has never failed to call me back. I'm not up here beating anybody up. I'm a product of Jackson, Mississippi. I lived in South Jackson, and of course, one of my high schools being closed. But besides that, I'm okay. But things ain't right, and when I met with Ted number 3 is what I call him. We met with him just it was last year sometime, and I told him, I said, we need to have our own water and let y'all take care of this water. And he didn't have that much to say about that. He didn't say he was glad for that. But I know he cannot sell it to us, and he can't work no deal with him. But we're working with the city of Jackson, trying to work out some kind of deal where we could get the pipes, and it's just chugging on, and can you tell I'm getting a little older, and this ain't helping my hair situation. And I need to get my water, and that's what I'm gonna stay 4 more years for. I'll go ahead and make that statement. But we got to get something done with this water. And I think I do a better job taking care. But when you can't help, when people just every day call you about water leaks, and they don't get out there for 2 or 3 days, that's not fair to us either. And that's just one thing that's going on. They don't deserve it kind of rate increase. That's the bottom line. They don't deserve it until they do a better job, and then I'll tell them when they deserve it. But I appreciate what y'all done this morning, making your motion, and going to do it by the state law, and that's the way it should be.
Mayor, how many people are impacted, how many ratepayers are impacted by this?
Okay, well, we started out with, when I got to be mayor, it was like, you're talking about my population?
The ones that would be impacted by the water increase?
A third of my city.
What's beyond his area, it's everyone that's more than 1 mile outside the city that get water from the city.
1 mile, it's some kind of,
It's a 1 mile radius, they charge double. Once you get out, it's a different rate.
Right.
in fact, I'm not so sure my people
So,
south of that 1 mile don't get a better price than people in Jackson, to be honest
oh,
with
they
you.
do.
They do.
It's different. I think it's
It's just messed up.
$1.97 per 100 cubic feet on out into the residential area. So it's going to be a pretty good impact on them when they go to switch to this new payment.
And it's not just Byram, it's parts
South
of
Jackson,
A
Terry.
mile outside of the
It's-
city limits.
It's other areas outside of Byram. You was just the best person to bring up here to articulate the situation.
I thought so. I thought
I would have recognized you earlier, Mr. Mayor. I just didn't see you for the
Hey,
poll right
yeah,
now.
we went to school together, and I'm a little bit older than he is. So-
And we've all I lost all my hair in the Jackson water system too.
Well, that
so-
means we're, yeah. But honestly, we don't need to go through this.
Right.
The people that I leave there to help run this city in years to come, and by the way, we're doing real well. I was going to tell you about our population, since I've been mayor, and it ain't got nothing to do with me being mayor, but we had about 3, maybe 5,000 people total, when we first got it reincorporated. We had to fight Jackson for that. That's okay. I'm okay with that. But I was in part of that deal, and but what I'm saying now, we got about almost 12,000 people, and we're still having water problems, and it's not right. And the people in fact, we met this morning, and they would pay extra, and they're not going to, but they would pay more money if we had our own water. You agree?
Right.
Need
We
to do
can't
better.
we can't be a whole city, when we try to attract people from outside the city, commercial,
First thing they asked.
that's the first thing they ask. Whose water are you on? Do you have your own water? And, as you know, Byram's on 2 different waters. On the east side of the interstate, we're on surface water.
From the reservoir.
So if they have issues at the plant, the east side of the interstate, part of Terry Road, up to the intersection of Sidewell has low pressure issues.
And Jackson's Industrial Park.
And
Don't
then,
believe that.
the rest of the city is on well. So, what we would like to do is get our own system, get us all well, and isolate off of Jackson. And that way, I think we can attract the industries that we're looking for.
And this is the first time we have an opportunity to say all this, and we're not still, I don't think it's beating Jackson up. I just think that through the last 20 years, they just have not looked out into the future, and we do have a future, and I want to make sure when I leave there, or whenever, whoever leaves there, or whoever's working there, they have the opportunity. We have also which ain't got nothing to do with this, but we have a wastewater main that we're shooting to them. We're working on it right now. It's a project about 24 million.
About 28 million.
28 million project where through an interceptor, we're gonna close our lagoons by state law, which I'm going with. I agree with them. And we're gonna we'll be able to take on any business or schools or more. In fact, we just had a couple of our schools get on our wastewater system in the last few months, right?
Well, they're going to.
They're going to. And, we're trying to do what we're supposed to. We don't have much money. That's okay. But we are reaching out to people. And we appreciate y'all. And Commissioner Stamps, I appreciate you and Brown and Carl very much.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
And I don't want to spend the whole day up here with y'all. I mean,
Any questions?
sir.
So their leaks destroy your roads,
Oh, yes, sir.
and you have to pay for it?
Correct.
Comes out of your citizens?
Yeah, we had to make the asphalt
They
repairs.
quit repair. When he was working for Jackson, they sort of quit. The asphalt guy got mad at me for some reason because I called him so much.
Well, they didn't want to come out, they didn't want to come out into the rural
He
area.
just told me he wasn't gonna do it, and I don't know if he's still, I'm not saying nothing bad, I'm not gonna certainly listen to names, but, I've always, everybody has responsibility, and my responsibility to people about it, that's what I'm going to do.
Well, and I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. Like Commissioner Stamp said, our responsibility to the ratepayers of Mississippi, which this impacts them. So
This
thank y'all.
is not good for this to go through. I know the federal judge is probably making that decision, but this ain't good for us to change the way we do business, and that's exactly what's wrong. That's the wrong, and I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate your presentation. Thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah, well, we weren't really prepared for that, but I think we did okay. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
So, thank you, Mr. Mayor, thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me a little indulgence to articulate the situation. And we're gonna work through it, we're gonna work through it and make it better, but I don't wanna get in some kind of back and forth, kind of press thing, but, I think cooler heads will prevail.
We just want to follow the statute. Statute says that the rate increases come through the Public Service Commission, which I appreciate you bringing the show cause just to bring that to the forefront so we can investigate and get to the bottom of that. Thank you, Commissioner Stamps. Any other comments, Commissioners? Hearing none, we stand adjourned.